This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, and welcome to homework number 3. Today, we are going to work on a data set that's an engagement survey, and we are going to make it into a report showing which dimensions are highest and which dimensions are lowest. So our first set of instruction is to report the graph for demographic variables, but I'm going to wait and do that last. The first thing I want to do is compute the dimension scores based off the hard copy of the survey. So I have the survey here, and I also have the data set, and I'm going to put this survey on another screen so I can see it while I'm working. Hopefully you have a printed copy. And the first thing I need to do is actually make this dimension compensation from these 5 items. But you'll notice that these are not numbers, and if we look in variable view, it is not numeric, it's text. So you learned how to recode, and that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to start recoding these. I'm going to go to transform, recode into the same variable, and there's 3 demographic questions, and I'm just going to select all the other ones. Click on old and new values, and I strongly disagree is going to be a 1, and I'm getting that. This is always really important whenever you're doing a survey. I'm getting that from here where it says that. Then I click add. Then I type in disagree, and that is a 2. A neutral, which is a 3. Oh, there it is. I just want to make sure my audio is working. Okay, hopefully that didn't start things over, but if it did, I'm working for my survey and I am recoding all of my items except for my demographic variables. And the next thing that I want to do is do agree is a 4. Strongly agree, strongly agree as a 5. And the last one is doesn't apply. And actually, I'm going to make this missing. So I'm not going to type this in. Actually, I do need to get it new numeric to make it missing. So I am going to say it doesn't apply 0. Continue. Okay. I'm going to say okay. Now, the big thing is I need to look here and see what happened. And this is common. This is no problem. But look, it doesn't apply or don't know. So I need to go back and change that, which is super easy. We just go back into transform, recode into same variable, and you'll see everything's still there. And even when I click there, it's still there. So I just need to change this. Doesn't apply. Whoops. Doesn't apply or don't know. Now the spelling has to be exact. Whoops, cancel. I'm sorry, I need to change it, continue, and hit OK. All right, which is perfect. Now you can see all of my variable has been shifted to number. Now the important thing is to go back to the variable view, and I need to change all of these to numeric. So I'm going to actually I'm going to change 1 to numeric. Then I'm going to copy that and then just pull down. I'm holding on the mouse and right click and paste. Okay, and it's designated them all as a scale. That's great. Now the columns are pretty wide because it used to be text. So we could also, if it's too wide, we could straighten all these up. You know, I could just do it 15. Again, copy, paste, and let's look and see how that looks. Now, it's just a number, so I could have gone smaller, but I do want to see the items. So that's why I'm leaving it a little bit wider. Okay. Now, so the next thing I need to do, go back to the variable view, is I need to make the missing value. Well, actually, what I want to do here is type in my new values, because otherwise I don't know. So you have to actually change it in by using transform recode, but you also need to label it so that when it comes up on the graph or chart or anything that you do, you know what these numbers mean. So again, I'm just going to go through putting these in to, whoops, that should be disagree. And again, here's how you change it. And then I just click change to add. 3 is neutral. I want to capitalize it because I want it all to be consistent and look good when I do my output. 4 is agree. 5 is strongly agree. And I'm not going to label the other because I don't want it showing up in the chart. Now, again, I'm going to copy, come all the way down, paste. Now for missing values, I'm going to make a 0 a missing value. And I'm going to copy this and pull it all the way down. Okay, so this all looks good, making sure this is numeric. Okay, very good. So my data set's ready to go with the numeric data. I'm going to come back and do this qualitative data later. So now let me make my my dimension scores. So I'm going to go back to transform, compute, and I'm going to call this compensation. And again, I'm putting this nicely. I could go in here and label it, but I might do that later. I might just do a copy and paste later. Okay. So I know it's the first 5 questions. So I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up this mean. Now I know it by heart, but you can come down here to statistical, select mean, and click this arrow up and it will do it for you. And I'm going to put question 1 in, then you need a comma, question 2, and I just have my finger on the comma and the space bar to make this go quickly. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I gotta do my comma and my space. I don't know if I've done 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's 5. Close it out with the parentheses, and I say okay. I don't really need to look at this yet, unless something's gone wrong. Now, if we go all the way to the end, there we have the average of the 5 compensation values. So I'm going to repeat this for all of them. Now, the next one is, and again, I'm just getting this from here, and benefits is 1, 2, 3, 4 items. Again, I am also checking the meaning. And one thing that I see here right away is that I have a benefits item in there. And it looks like maybe, yeah, I didn't have a space here, which is why I couldn't see that. So I'm gonna actually rerun that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this one should not be in here. And again, no problem, because I went right back in and it's there. And I'm gonna say, okay. Now it's gonna ask me, do I wanna change this? It's letting me know you're changing what you did prior. And I'm gonna say, yes, I do. Okay. All right, so it's changed. Now, transform, compute. I'm gonna do benefits. Again, the mean, I'm just gonna take this out. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One thing you can do also, which would probably be really helpful here, is to stretch your window out. You can stretch it down, out, and that way I can look at the wording to make sure I've got the right item. Because it's super easy to click on the wrong item, as you just saw. Okay. Okay, so this one I've got one in here that doesn't work. Let's see, where did I go wrong? Oh, you know why? Because I didn't include the first one that I missed last time. Okay. So I need to put that one in. Comma space. There we go. I'm gonna say okay. And there we have benefits. The next one, transform compute. It is overall client satisfaction, and I'm just gonna call it client satisfaction. We don't want anything too long. All right, and this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. And it starts with SSA's current activities, which here it's pillars. Okay. I believe our clients are well served. I believe clients' concerns are heard. I know where I can get additional, whoops, comma space. I know where I can get additional information. I'm just double checking myself here. I believe in the last year, and I would be interested. Okay. Now, if you'll notice right away, when I think about this dimension, it switches from I believe to I know where I can get, and I would be interested in training and information, which just right away I know that's not, it doesn't really have to do with client satisfaction. I mean, there may be a link, but I wouldn't be surprised if these items are problematic if you did a reliability analysis. Whoops, I have an illegal character. Oh, a space. No spaces in variable names. Okay. We see it's there. All right. The next one. Oops, sorry. Transform compute. Next one is communications. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it starts with SSA does a good job of communicating. So there we go. That's to start, comma space, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, and I know to do my job. The intranet is a useful aid, is the last one. Okay. We've got our communication. I'm just going to put that there. Okay. Transform, compute variable. The next one is supervisor. Okay, so my supervisor involves me in decisions. That's the first one, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and I need that last one. Okay. Now there's some other items here. That talk about their clinical supervisor. And we're just going to skip over those because those are not in the survey that I see. Okay, let's hit. All right, that looks good. Transport compute. And when this one is, I'm just going to label it team. It's program team department. And it has 3 items, it looks like. So 1, 2, 3. We'll scroll down on the survey, make sure, yep, and then it goes to senior management. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, team is up there. And you'll notice there's some missing data. If anybody missed one of these items, it's going to be missing. And there's a way that you can get around that, but these are really small scale. So if it's under 10 items, I only replace with the mean when you can do it 10%. And so we kind of need 10 items to do that. So we're not going to do that here. All right, last one. Senior leadership, no space. All right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and they're the last 7 items. The first one being, I understand the reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, I don't need that last one. Okay. I feel like I might have missed a comma, but it'll let me know if I did. All right, good. All right, so those are all done. So let's go back to our homework. Instructions. Excel. Okay, so compute the dimension scores based off of that. Oops, that's the wrong one. Let me pull up the right one. That's the one with the answers in it. Okay, here we go. Compute the dimension scores based off the hard copy of the survey that was given to you. We did that. Now create a graph showing how the dimension scores vary. So you could take this over into Excel and do that in Excel. So what we have here is we have the average of the compensation, each dimension for each person. And now we need the average of the items. So what we're going to, of the dimensions. So what we're going to do is we're going to say analyze descriptives. And I'm going to go down and, whoops. So we know it starts with compensation. Okay. Now if I scroll those over, options. Here, I'm going to do ascending. Actually, I'm going to do descending means. Okay. And what we have here is the mean for this. Now, we can copy this and take it over to Excel.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so I'm going to show you this way first. So I'm just going to copy this. Control copy. Oops, I show my Excel where you can see it. Paste options. That's fine. I don't really need this. I can just delete this to put it right together. Now, I'm going to select this and say insert bar chart. And because I sorted it in SPSS in terms of descending, means it looks this way. So I could have done it ascending, but it's showing supervisors the best and compensation is the worst. Team and communication or benefits are right in the middle. Okay, and we know we can change the title here easily, or just even remove this because you need to do it in Word when you do your template. Okay, so that is one way.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, and now I'm going to show you how to do it in SPSS. I think that Excel is a little bit easier to work in. You can change the colors of the bars. You can change the font a little bit easier. It could be that I have more experience with it when SPSS didn't have great graphs, but up to you. So in order to do this, we're going to go graphs, and there's many ways you can do it. This is just one. Graphs, legacy dialog, bar, and then we want to, it normally says summaries of groups of cases where it's just showing you something within one variable, but we're going to select summaries of separate variables and say define. Let me reset this real quick. And then I'm going to select all of my dimensions and put them in here. And here I could do title, but again, we really want to do that in that we don't really need to play with. We say okay, and we get this bar chart, right? Now, the good thing about SPSS is we can just double click on it, show data labels, and it does that. I'm sure you can do that in Excel, but I don't know how at this moment. So you can play around with either one, and turning in either one is okay. So that's what you want to do. So I'm going to say okay. Now, Okay. Homework instructions. Create a graph showing how the dimensions score vary. We've done that. And that is one thing to think about. These are not ascending. And there could be a way that you can do that. I'm not certain. And it doesn't have to be, but I do know when I do it for clients, I do it in Excel, so it is descending, so it's easy for them to see. So if somebody knows how to do descending, reach out to me. And yeah, I'll just look really quick. I'm sure there's options. But anyway, if anybody knows how, reach out to me. I'll include it in there. Okay. So the last thing is to report graphs of the demographic variables. And let me check something.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so one of the easy things is in SPSS, you can graph the demographic data without changing it to numbers. And I'm going to show you. So I'm going to do a pie chart of primary, let me reset this, years of service. And I could do the N or the percent. Maybe I'll do the percent. Say okay. And we notice I have a category here that's most likely missing. And that doesn't look good. So we need to go back to the variable view. Actually, the data view, I want to see what it is. It's missing data. So what I can do is go in and I'm just going to type a 99 in each one. Now this is difficult to do if you have a really large data set, but here I can just, since we have less than 200 cases, okay, so then I go back to variable view and I need to say, hey, the missing value is 99. Okay, then I just go back and redo the graph and everything will be in there for me. And here it is, and it looks so much better. I'm going to double click. And there we go. And I'm going to do the same thing for, let me look and just see if there's missing data. There is. So I'm going to go through for both of these variables and type in the 99. Another way to do this would be to replace the value to recode and have missing data and recode it into a 99. So just so you know, I could have done system missing and then put a 99 in, and that would have worked for that variable. And I could have done it for all three at once, which may have saved just a little bit of time. But anyway, so it's there. Graph, and I'm gonna continue to do a pie chart for where you spend most of your time. Let me see how this looks. Oops, I've got too much selected here. What's going on? Graph. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. That's what I meant. Okay, sorry. Primary areas of service. Okay. There we go. And again, you know what I forgot to do is I forgot to tell SPSS that it was missing. So again, I'm just going to run it again. Okay, there we go. Double click, data. And I actually would go in and, I guess that's okay. It's telling me what the variable name is. And the last one, get rid of that. This one may be better as a bar chart. Yeah, I might try that as a bar chart just because it doesn't look great as a pie chart. Whoops, cancel. I'm in the graph, legacy, bar. I want to do summaries of groups of cases. And then where do you spend the majority of your time? There we go. And I'm not sure what this one is, since I did recode the missing. Let me just go back and check it out. And the data, possibly I recoded, no, data view. Looks like maybe I missed something. Yep, I missed 99. Okay, now I should be good. So again, just rerun it. Graph, legacy bar, simple, okay. There we go. So I think that looks a little bit better. Double click. All right, and so now all you have to do is write up the report. And if we look at the homework instructions, it says you have one page. You want to put this, you want to put that graph with the dimensions in your first page, because you don't want to write in your text, the mean was this, the mean was that, the mean was this. You want to show the table and you want to talk about this was the highest one, this was the lowest one, you know, kind of look at the numbers. How can you talk about them? And then when you talk about it, you can put the mean and the standard deviations in parentheses in the text, but really they look visually to the chart and they're intuitively understand it, and then you summarize it for them. And then what do you want to say about the demographics? So another thing is, if you were an intern and you analyze these results, what would you want your consulting firm, what do you think they should recommend to this client? So, you know, I look at this, obviously compensation, all of them are above 3, except compensation. Compensation's barely below it. So, you know, compensation I want to look at, we know it's a social service agency, so that's probably not going to change because it depends on funding. But the next one is senior leadership. So what recommendations would you have to boost scores of senior leadership? And, or that they should, you know, your recommendation might be they should look at how to do that. You might not know how. But anyway, so that's what you're going to write. And then you're going to put your graphs of your 3 demographic variables in the appendix. So good luck and thanks for listening.